people think that to be an entrepreneur, you have to have a certain something, that you're kind of born with this tendency. And you really just kind of explode that myth completely and offer up really the key is to know thyself. Can you talk a little bit about the personalities and how one comes to understand what your entrepreneurial sort of personality is?
Yeah, well, first of all, so I talked about the different species a little bit about not everyone wants to create the next Facebook. I mean, those are the gazelles, the fastest growing companies, the high jumping ones. But I also talk about, the butterflies who are creating more lifestyle businesses, who want something that maybe starts in their kitchen or starts in their basement, and maybe they use crowdsourcing and crowdfunding, and they want something to grow, but they want to stay local. That's okay too. We need a lot of butterflies here. These are independent contractors or people with like 10 employees. There are the dolphins in the social sector. I call them dolphins because dolphins are very cooperative, very social, but you harm their pod, their environment, and watch out. And they're the ones that need to make waves in the government and social sectors. But my favorite of the species are the skunks. I don't like the word intrapreneur, so I said, look, let's name this after Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works program that built fighter jets secretly. But today, if you're inside a company, you really need to stink up the joint, okay?
I love
so
that.
These are the species. But what happened was, even within that, I found that everybody, when they got from startup to scale up, was starting to emulate a leader. And usually it was someone like Steve Jobs. No matter whether they were a skunk, a dolphin, a gazelle, they were all saying, okay, now I've got to be Steve Jobs, or now I've got to be some corporate titan who, who is sort of stone-faced, and now I am a leader. And so I worked with Bain & Company because I said, we've seen 1,000 entrepreneurs, and they all have different strengths and different weaknesses, but there are patterns. Can we kind of unlock those patterns to say, you're not all Steve Jobs, and you don't all have his strengths, but you don't all have his weaknesses either. And when we looked, we found 4 different kind of leadership personalities. And so these are irrespective of what species, what arena you're working in, which is what are your strengths, what are your motivations, and where are your pitfalls? And so there's a chapter in the book where it describes your entrepreneur personality. There's also a 10-question test on lindarottenberg.com that's a smaller version of what Bain and I created. But what is great is if you know who you are, then you can surround yourself with others, because the building of the team is where so many entrepreneurs we find get stuck. And they remain either one-person shows, or they're all about analytics and metrics but have no heart, or they're all about the mission and the social purposes and need the business side, or they get distracted. So whatever the pitfalls are, if you know what they are and you can surround yourself with others who can complement you, I think that that's how you get to the next level.